Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Alex and this is TechFlow. So you're looking for a swanky camera in a small package. You want to be able to record awesome 4K sharp footage. You want a really fast burst photo mode. You want some awesome autofocus and you want it to be in a tiny form factor. Welcome to the Sony A6300 camera review. Let's get into it. This is the Sony Alpha A6300. Let's take a look around the device itself to kick things off. So on the front of the camera you've got a Sony logo, on the opposite side of that you've got an Alpha logo, just underneath that you've got the versatile Sony E-mount camera system. Attached to that at the moment I'm currently using the stock lens that comes with the camera, the kit lens. Now the grip on the front of the camera is very nice to use. The camera itself, the whole package is very small, but the grip makes the camera feel a lot bigger and a lot more, robust when using it. Flipping the camera around to the left-hand side reveals a little flap. Open this up and you will find yourself a micro HDMI port, a micro USB port, and also an audio in jack. Now we'll get into the features and specifications of this camera a little bit later, but it's such a shame that this camera actually doesn't offer an audio out for audio monitoring. Considering all the professional features that this camera has, it just feels a little bit lacking without an audio out or an audio monitoring jack. Come on, Sony. Around the top of the camera you've got the hot shoe mount. Next to that you have a pop-up flash, a brilliant inclusion mind you. Next to that you have the mode dial, then next to that you have your f-stop dial, and on the grip on the front you've got a shutter button, a custom button which you can map to anything in the camera to do whatever you want. I currently have it set to punch into focus. And round the shutter button is your camera on-off switch. On the back of the camera you've got a viewfinder, a really welcome inclusion for such a small little camera. And underneath that you've got your screen, your non-touchscreen, non-flip-outable touchscreen. However, I really do like the articulation that Sony has used with their screens. It's very intuitive, very easy to use, and you may not be able to flip the screen out or up to see it as you're holding out to take a selfie, but it works in other ways and it works really well. You really have to use the screen articulation to sort of take advantage of it and see how it is actually really useful. Now the screen itself is very gorgeous. It's razor pin sharp. You can see absolutely everything, nail your focus every time. You can see exactly everything, even the small values at the bottom of the screen like your ISO, f-stop and shutter speed. Now around your screen you have a messy array of buttons. Now these messy array of buttons control the messy array of menu that Sony think is a good menu when it's really not. The menu system on this camera is absolutely awful, one of the worst things ever. And on the right hand side of the camera all you've got is your lovely textured grip and an NFC logo. Let's get into the things I don't like about this camera, kicking it off with the buttons and menu layout. So the buttons on the back of this camera are absolutely god awful. It's horrible to change your ISO as your ISO and shutter speed are on the same ring, the ring on the back. That ring on the back is also used to control whether you are in burst mode, and it also changes your display settings. Now the camera has two custom buttons and what's called an FN button. To take the most advantage out of your A6300, I would recommend using these so much. So the C buttons are what we call custom buttons. You can map these buttons to do anything in the settings menu, like punch into focus, or switch from auto to manual focus, or switch picture profile. Now there's two of these buttons. One is right next to the shutter button in a very convenient location. I have that to punch in to check my focus, and the other one is actually the delete button to delete things when you're looking through what you've previously taken. A really cool added feature. Now the FN button on the back of your camera lets you customize 12 settings. So you click the FN button and it will bring those 12 settings up in a menu and you can change them on the fly. Much better than actually navigating the full-blown menu, which has about 5 different tabs and then 9 sub-menus and then actual sections in those. It's honestly the worst camera layout of a menu I've ever seen in my life. If you have this camera, please do yourself a favor and make use, set up your FN button and have your custom settings in there. Now also the Wi-Fi in this camera is a little bit of a joke and a gimmick, but when you need it to work, it works really well. It's really difficult to get set up and get it paired with your phone, but then again it's super easy. Sony includes a QR code which you scan on your phone by downloading the app. It installs the Wi-Fi profile so you don't actually have to put any Wi-Fi codes into your camera, but then again Sony could have just displayed the Wi-Fi code for the camera on the screen. I think they're just trying to make it a little bit more cool to do. But when you are connected, it is really cool. You can use your phone as a viewfinder. So yes, I know we don't have a flip out selfie screen. That's really annoying, but I can actually look at my phone whilst it's connected via Wi-Fi, control absolutely all the controls that you can on the camera, start, stop it recording, and I can also have a fairly clear live feed from the camera's view to check things are in focus if I'm the one stood in front of the camera. You can also transfer photos from the camera to your smartphone with a few taps. You can't unfortunately transfer video though. But other than that, those are my only things I don't really like about this camera. Let's get into what I do like about it, and trust me, there's a goddamn lot. First off, rapid autofocus. Yes, this thing is absolutely mad at autofocus. I'm gonna hands down say this is the fastest, to the date of recording this video, autofocusing camera money can buy. It's honestly a little bit too rapid. It's scary. Honestly, just trust me on that. Also, its 4K video quality is absolutely groundbreaking for a camera of this size. This, you can see now a few little test shots that I've shot around the office here. And also, this whole video has been shot on the A6300. So if that doesn't float your goat, then I don't know what will. This is all being recorded on it in autofocus, absolutely everything on auto. I thought I'd leave it in auto, just so you guys can see what it's doing. Now here is a dark corridor. I'm going to slowly turn the ISO up all the way to 20,000 so you can check out the grain here. Now it is not a bad low light camera in all respects considering its size. It's actually fairly good and I would recommend it for low light. Just for its size, it's amazing. And it also has the, well, gimmicky but kind of really awesome slow motion feature at full 1080p. Now if you render your slow motion out at 30 FPS, you can get 4 times normal speed. If you render it out at 24 FPS, you can get a full blown 120 FPS. 5 times normal speed. Really cool stuff. Now for video, also the camera boasts Sony's famous picture profiles. Now here is me swiping through all of the picture profiles. Now the reason you want a picture profile is so you can get pretty much a flat image and then color grade that image later in post. What it does is what we call preserve detail in the image. So the image gets really flat, gets really white, and then it preserves all the details so you can go ahead and change things, make things look a little bit different, a little bit more retro, or to your liking and taste in post production. Now that is a very, very, very vague talk through of what a picture profile is. You can go into massive detail with these picture profiles and how to work with them and edit them, but that is what a picture profile is in a nutshell, and it's what Sony are famous for. It's great to see it come from its high-end cameras into this Sony A6300 camera. So that's video in a nutshell. It's absolutely incredible. It can go all the way up to 4K. You can do 1080 at 120 FPS. Its video capabilities are just absolutely groundbreaking for a camera of this size. And even if you don't think they are by what I've shown you, honestly, I know my cameras, you're not getting much better than this for the size. In fact, I'm going to say it, there's nothing better than this for the size. Okay, so let's move on to photography. Now, I'm not a massive photographer, so this bit of the video is not going to be very detailed. We're working here with 24 FPS. There's one really cool thing I can show you, which is its burst mode. Absolutely incredible. It can burst so fast for sport things. Here you go, listen to this. You're working with a full 24 megapixels with this little camera, so you're getting a lot of detail here, and the photos are sharp, crisp, and in my opinion, very, very nice for a camera, again, of this size. The thing I keep coming back to, this camera is amazing for its size. That is it. You've obviously got full manual control. You can export all your photos in RAW plus JPEG as well. You've really got to pick up this camera and shoot with it to get a feel for it. It is honestly just incredible for its size. But that pretty much just about wraps up my review. Also, I must mention that the body of this camera is so strong, and so are all the other Sony cameras as well. They're known for great build quality. I've dropped this camera so many times, there isn't a dent on it. It's recording this video, it's insane. For the package, for the price, you're not gonna go wrong. If you really want a camera that's got a lot of cool features, that's small, A6300, I honestly couldn't recommend it enough. Guys, let us know what you think on Qutee with the links in the description and the comment section about the A6300 camera. But for now, this has been day 2 or 3 of the TechFlow Christmas special, and we'll catch you in the next one.